Welcome to ET Inside, where we get you a 360-degree view of the big picture in business and economy. I'm Sridhar Ramakrishnan, and here's what we have for you on the show today. India is aging rapidly, and that's creating a huge market of consumers with different needs. Early bird marketers have already come up with innovative products to tap grey India. Find out what's on offer. But selling to India's elderly is no easy job. The biggest hurdle is that many of them are too poor to be big consumers. Our top story first. The mere thought of aging makes many people unhappy, but not marketers. In fact, these guys just can't stop grinning from year to year. That's because India is the second largest market in the world for consumers over 60 years of age. At last count, there were some 90 million of them. No wonder then, from real estate to retail, from insurance to travel, companies are putting their best foot forward to tap India's growing market of aging consumers. But just how big is the opportunity? Asha Gopalakrishnan finds out.
66-year-old Vijay Pandit can give any youngster a run for his money. He's a retired tax lawyer and has the time and even the money to splurge. He can flex his muscles with his fat wallet, and marketers will just have to sit up and take notice. Because he has a variety of needs that are by and large unmet.
We're not the general purpose for an elderly person, senior citizens. I don't think so.
Pandit is one among India's 90 million people who are above the age of 60, a segment which marketers need to start looking at sooner than later. According to the UN population database, between 2010 and 2050, while a large chunk of India's population will remain in the 15 to 59 age category, the percentage of such people will not grow dramatically. In contrast, the percentage of aged people in India will grow nearly 3 times. The average life expectancy ratio in India too has risen from 58.8 in 1990 to 63.5 now. In the next 2 decades, this number is expected to touch 69.4.
In absolute numbers, 8% of India's population is above 60 years of age. So if you're talking about 1.2 billion people in 2011, we're talking about almost 100 million people in India are above 60 years of age. There is no other country in the world other than China which has got this large a number of people above 60. At 100 million, India will actually be in the top 5 countries in the world of just in population size alone as far as older people are concerned. So this segment is a very, very interesting segment to focus upon.
Indeed it is. And India Inc. needs to run fast if it wants to keep pace with this growth. Here, it can follow the footsteps of developed markets like the US.
Retirees in the US are amongst the highest spenders in the consuming population, because they save up a lot of money and then they spend across traveling and resorts and buying cars and clothes, etc. Because that's their time to enjoy. At least that's how they see it. As a result, there's a huge industry around apparel for elderly, old age home communities, which are many organizations over billions and billions of dollars in revenues. All that does not exist in India.
The market may not exist in a substantial way, but the aged category is the moneyed lot, and retailers recognize that.
A particular product that we do, which is a wonderful product in menswear. It's a product that has an expandable waistband on the side. It's a formal trouser. I can't show that to you because I'm not wearing it right now, but it has an expandable waistband and makes it very, very comfortable. Whether it is you do put on an inch or so at various times, or you're out on a holiday, or you're out with a good meal, it just allows you to adjust your waistband and feel very comfortable.
We have recently launched, in fact, just 2-3 days ago, a very nice relaxing chair, with a little bounce, which people would like to sit, relax and read a paper or have a cup of tea. So we have a range of products for the older people.
We have what you call the regular phones, which have got big sized digits, because it's not very easy for them to dial those numbers because without their glasses. So we have worked with the manufacturer, and we already have that product with us.
According to a survey by Max New York Life and NCAER, households with the chief earners in the 55 to 65 category have the highest surplus income and cash savings per annum. households where the chief earner is above 65 have the highest financial and physical investments. They have double the discretionary spending than the younger lot and purchase properties, investments, white goods and automobiles. So life for India's silver citizens is a whole lot more than plain old food, clothing and shelter.
It is important to note that the consumption pattern or the spending pattern for this is entirely different from the before, means like the young generation, in three ways. First important thing is it is more of saving than the expending mode. Second thing is the expenditure is happening more of the non-routine expenditure, where it comes like the housing, where it comes like the education of the children. Third thing is the health is important for them, and fourth is the creation of asset and services like the car or the, you can say, purchasing of land. So here is the important thing which is happening, which is of more of the wealth creation than the spending on themselves. While if you come to the lower segment is the self-satisfaction and creation of their self, you can say, gratification, particularly in the young generation.
The insurance sector has had a heads up as far as marketing to the aged is concerned, and the going is still strong. Of 30 health insurance schemes launched in the past few months, 6 have been designed exclusively for senior citizens.
If you just look at estimates for 2020, roughly about 13 crore of Indians are going to be in the age bracket of 60 plus. Now that's almost the size of the population of Japan. So that tells you that this is a sizable segment by itself, and we have to make sure that we kind of address their needs and kind of work with them as well.
Life expectancy is rising pretty dramatically. We are going to have people over this age living for a much longer period of time, and hence it becomes a very important segment for everybody in financial services, including insurance companies, to look seriously at this segment.
Next in line is the realty sector, which has found a new lease of life from the aged. According to real estate consultant JLLM, 5 years ago there were only 3 to 4 developers in the senior living space. Today there are over 14 players catering to the 60 plus segment with contemporary retirement homes and resorts. For instance, Royal Palms has a project in Mumbai, LIC Housing Finance has a project in Panvel, Paranjpe Builders Athashri project in Pune, and Atron Group in Gujarat plans to launch luxury homes for the aged.
This is a niche segment, and there is a lot of demand coming in from developers who understand that the niche segment has people with changing demographics, with lifestyle changes, and an overall aspirational requirement that people want to have an independent lifestyle where their interests are taken care of. Developers recognize this need and are finding that people are welcoming such kind of projects. So that's definitely increasing the overall need in the sector.
And where realtors go, hospitality is bound to follow. The travel industry is tailor-making products that ensure ease in mobility, aid vision and hearing, and even taking care of the dietary requirements of this generation. Airlines are doling out attractive discounts, and travel agencies are busy organizing special tours abroad for senior citizens.
The sightseeing will be easy-paced. There will be only very few in and out of coaches and hotels. The hotels we go to, we normally arrange for porterage. We make sure that the hotels arrive in the foyer area of the hotel that is booked, to ensure that senior citizens have this what we call a comfort factor. And normally what we've observed is that senior citizens like to travel on group tours.
This slice of high life is incomplete without a dash of vanity. And so you have health and personal care industry queuing up to engage the elderly.
Senior citizen can also, I'm talking about 50 to 60 years old, 65 years, can afford more money at times. Okay? They find it is needed. It's not a luxury.
There is a huge segment that's going to emerge, that people who want to feel young, look young, so therefore the entire area of wellness and anti-aging is a category which is going to emerge.
But all that is not nearly enough for such a huge market. In markets like Japan, which has the largest percentage of old population in the world, companies are working round the clock to make products for this segment. The aged there have access to intelligent toilets, cybernetic suits and beds that turn into wheelchairs. In comparison, India's efforts are paltry and companies need to think out of the box and innovate in order to stay ahead of the curve.
But it's not as if there's no innovation happening at all. There are quite a few companies custom making products for elderly consumers. We'll get you that story and more when we come back. Welcome back, you're watching ED Insight. India may be a big market for mature consumers, but their needs are very different from those of younger consumers. Products have to be designed keeping in mind their physical, emotional and financial status. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of that is happening. But there are some companies leading the market. Lakshmi Subramanian gets you the story.
Sometimes, life's simple pleasures like reading elude the old. It can be cumbersome, straining and even painful. But not anymore. All thanks to this adjustable bedside reading table, which is in the true sense of the elderly, by the elderly and for the elderly. Invented by 78-year-old S.G. Nadgowda, this patented product ensures that grandma and grandpa get their daily dose of bedtime with little or no effort.
It can be used for multi-purpose functions for hospitals, nursing homes, retired persons and all those things.
While this model is still in the works and is awaiting commercial production, there are some products like this senior phone made by Eyeball which are already available off the shelf. The phone has unique features like a large keypad, big fonts on the display panel, an easy-to-use torchlight and this very special SOS button which sends out alerts and messages to predefined numbers in case of an emergency. Eyeball has priced this phone at 3,500 rupees and says it will sell about 250,000 to 400,000 mobiles by the end of the year.
We realized that senior citizens were one category of users who had a very special and different requirement, and nobody was focusing on this segment at all. So we got this insight and then started to see what the senior citizens require. And we realized that apart from bigger keypads, bigger fonts, they had a problem of hearing also, so they wanted an enhanced audio sound and very easy to use functions.
From material comfort to a better lifestyle. Welcome to Dignity Lifestyle, a retirement township situated 100 kilometers from Mumbai. This no-profit, no-loss venture by NGO Dignity Foundation comprises 62 premium, classic and economy cottages spread over 25 acres. 50% of this has been dedicated for the care of people with ailments like Parkinson's and dementia. The township provides amenities like computers and internet, a library, a health club, an auditorium, a temple and medical services. Memberships are open to those who are over 55 years of age. A premium cottage here costs about 6,000 rupees a month and one can get admitted after paying a deposit of 13 lakh rupees, of which 9 lakh rupees is refundable. This is the phase 1 of the project, which has been completely sold out and has a long waiting list.
100 more cottages are coming up and the third phase will be another 70 more cottages. So with this, all the 3 phases of Dignity Lifestyle would be completed. And I already have a very large waiting list.
From community living to a more independent lifestyle, like the one South-based developer, the Alliance Group is providing through its Orchid Springs project in Chennai. Here, senior citizens can get their homes customized with anti-skid floors, wider passages and washrooms designed to accommodate wheelchairs. That's why even though the 2,100 unit project is not specifically designed for the aged, it is quite popular among them.
Today we have sold approximately about 5% of the units within this community to the seniors. However, we have to note that we are not doing any special marketing activities for this community, and perhaps if we start focusing on specialized marketing activities for this community, maybe the 5% may increase further.
A better life calls for smarter financial management, and that's where insurance comes in.
We initially started with an entry age of 60 or less. Then we've moved it to 65, which is currently in operation. So you've got to be under 65 to enter. And we are in the next financial year going to have a policy called Senior Citizens Policy, which will encourage people to enter at any age.
The property developer is developing an entire township for, let's say, as old age homes, and people would typically buy them when they can afford it at 50 years, 55 years. Can they, along with buying that house or leasing that house, which is what is happening, also at the same time start putting some money aside for an insurance policy? Now, a lot of this is still happening in bits and pieces. I think it has to start building up to really start resulting in a significant contribution.
While insurance is a good way to mitigate health-related risks with old age, there are other threats that old people living alone need to be prepared for. Zicom Security Solutions helps the aged do that.
In the intrusion detection systems, we have a feature which is like a panic alarm, which is worn around the neck of the senior citizens like a switch. Right? So in case of any health issues, we get through our central monitoring station immediate notification about activation of these kind of features.
Building features for the old is important, but marketing these products is a completely different ballgame, and that is the big challenge ahead.
Indeed it is. We'll get you more on that after we come back from this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching ED Inside. Without doubt, the number of Indians living into their 70s and 80s will grow in the years ahead. But not all of them will be equal consumers. Lakshna Gulati tells you why.
If life starts at 40, it's a whole new India that's coming of age. The fabulous 50s, the swinging 60s, turning 70s and the enlightened 80s. And getting grey is no longer associated with helplessness.
Increasingly you are seeing that like I was saying, that this segment of old in India, it's very peculiar to India, are suddenly seeing a whole lot of action around them. Yeah? So it is actually not a bad time to be, and compared to their their parents, let's say. The old age signified a certain slowing down and kind of a thing. Abhi, even if it is in minimal quantities, look at the portrayal of old people. It's enjoying.
They require consumer electronic products, they require TVs, they require laptops. Again, there's a very large chunk of children who are overseas who would like to communicate with their parents or want to have a good life for their parents. So in many cases, these are some things which, as far as people are concerned, older or grey population, you can come up with products specifically focus on them.
But despite that, marketers continue to chase India's youth, and with good reason, because that's where the critical mass and influence is.
इसमें है हेल्थ मेकर पावर विटामिन्स के साथ Foodles from Horlicks.
Horlicks has been a heritage brand in this country for over 100 years, and Horlicks was always associated with the old, with the greying population, because Horlicks is meant to give you more energy, and it's the old who feel depleted of energy, and therefore they look for that energy. And particularly markets in Tamil Nadu and West Bengal would swear by Horlicks, the greying generation. But for some reason, even Horlicks has fallen into this temptation of now expanding their market with kids or even with women.
Take for instance the case of Pepsi, one of India's biggest advertisers in the beverages segment, which insists on wooing the young.
You see brand Pepsi, its personality, it is light-hearted, it's cheeky, it's irreverent, it takes on conventions, and in the right way challenges conventions and authority, and to me all of this is really what the youth is.
Okay, so grey may not be the new blue, and it's not just authority that has to be challenged, but also the old way of thinking, like Cadbury's has in its recent campaign. or like McDonald's has been doing for several years. But marketing to the silver generation is no easy task. At the top of the list of challenges is the fact that many of them are poor and cannot consume any meaningful goods or services. And if the aged are not poor, then there's the perception that life quite literally comes to a halt at 45.
You need to, reconcile yourself with the fact that, it is all right. I mean, people don't wither away and die when they turn 45. Meaning that, and this automatic association with, with the fact that you cross a certain age, you stop spending money or stop being interested in life.
Next in line are the consumption habits of senior citizens.
The decision to buy and the amount to buy for is taken by the head of the household, who may be a person who's 45, 50-year-old. But when he looks to choose, he asks his son or daughter to actually do the research, and that son or daughter may be in the age group of 15, 20, 25 perhaps, and it is important to for the brand to be relevant for those youngsters who will influence the choice.
The young are more adaptive, they adopt technology faster, better, they in a sense more fickle, while the old are more loyal, more staid, they're not so easy to shift. Now if one looks at it, that's a strength and a weakness.
The market is small, it's not a very big market, and with our kind of lifestyle where we have joint families still existing. Yes, in cities you see nuclear families, but we do stay with our parents and elderly people. So what happens is many times their demands or their requirements get bypassed.
That's one of the biggest reasons why companies don't find the need to innovate or increase their product categories to suit the aged.
This is in sharp contrast with developed markets like Japan, where companies spend trillions of dollars to cater to this segment. For starters, they have a completely different line of food products fortified with nutrients for the elderly, and these are just as easily available as baby food.
India needs to learn quickly because in absolute numbers it has the second largest aging population in the world after Japan. And it's better that marketers wake up to this reality sooner than later.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of ET Insight. We'll be back next week, but until then, don't forget to write in with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks so much for watching.